First one, prideful. Are you prideful or are you humble? All right, so this is actually kind of a trick question because if you're really, really humble, you probably would score yourself low because you would say, "Oh, I'm not humble," so you'll give yourself a 1 or a 2, right? But if you're really prideful, you would probably score yourself very highly because you would think that you're humble if you're really prideful. Right? So anyway, it's a trick question. But what I'm asking you to do is to really try to be honest and think about, how do other people see you? How do other people see you? And that probably would give you a more accurate answer to this question about yourself. So, for example, on the prideful side, do you think you're better than other people? If for any reason whatsoever, do you think you're better than other people? Do people tell you occasionally that you're arrogant? um, if somebody disagrees with you, do you automatically assume that they are wrong simply because they disagreed with you? Do you get angry when people disagree with you? So all of those things that I just said, those all indicate that you have a pridefulness problem. So if you answered yes to those questions, you probably need to be at a 1 or a 2 for this one. Okay. Or do you recognize that you are not better than anybody else? If somebody disagrees with you, instead of just assuming they're wrong, do you use that as an opportunity to question your own beliefs and to examine your own beliefs? Are you able to ask yourself, could I be wrong about that? Did I make a mistake? Because really prideful people, they're not even able to ask that question of themselves. So if you are able to examine yourself that way and ask these questions of yourself, then you're probably more on the humble side. Okay. Now, if you watched my podcast 2 weeks ago when I talked about pridefulness, you know that I believe that pride is really the root of all sin. Pridefulness is the original sin, and that all of us have a pride problem to some extent, some more than others. Okay, but it is part of the human condition to be prideful, to want to make ourselves our own gods. It's part of the curse of the fall of man. And so pretty much all of us, we can assume that we do have a pride problem. So now we can work on that with the Holy Spirit. So I don't know if we can ever completely get rid of that. It's something that we will need to probably work on our entire lives. But if you are somebody who is intentionally working to become a more humble person, then you probably can give yourself a more, like a 4 or a 5 for this one, because you know what? Most people don't ever even think about it. Most people don't ever work on their pride problem. They don't even know that they do have a pride problem. So if you're at least working on it, then you're probably more humble than most people already. Okay, so 2 weeks ago on my podcast, I gave you 3 steps to be able to work on becoming a more humble person. And so I'm not going to go into detail, but I just want to go over those kind of as a review. And so here are those 3 steps. So the first one is to pray for humility. So pridefulness, since it's such a part of our human condition, is not really something that we can change about ourselves. You can't just say, okay, heart, stop being proud, So really, you just have to give it to God. You have to pray about it, because it's actually the Holy Spirit that will be able to transform your heart from being proud and arrogant to a humble heart. Really, only the Holy Spirit can do that. And so you begin by praying for humility. God, make me a more humble person. Show me the prideful problems in my life and show me how to work on those. Number 2, prepare to walk with Jesus through the difficult times. Because when you start praying for humility, one of the things that God usually will do is to allow you to go through some hard times to help break you of your pridefulness. Because when you go through hard times, what that shows us is that, we're not really in control after all. And so that is one of the ways that God can use to break you of your pridefulness. And now don't think that if you simply do not ask God to make you humble, that will means that you will not go through hard times, because the truth is that everybody goes through difficult times, whether you're a Christian or not, whether you're going through the sanctification process or not. We all go through hard times. But if you determine beforehand and you commit to surrender to God, and you determine that when those hard times come, because they will come eventually, when that happens, you're going to hang on to Jesus. You're going to walk through it with Jesus. You're going to trust him anyway. And you're not going to get all mad and shake your fist at God. You're going to hang on to Jesus as you go through the difficult times. And if you have that attitude, then when you go through hard times, God can use that to mold you into a more humble person. So, but on the other hand, if you fight it, if you get mad at God for allowing this hard time, then what's going to happen is you're going to grow further away from God. You're going to become more prideful. You're going to become bitter and angry. So prepare to walk through the hard times with Jesus. Prepare for that now before things get bad. It's much better to go ahead and get that mindset than to try to scramble to get there from the underside of a tragedy. Okay, number 3, last one. Is to make a habit of self-reflection. And this is simply to regularly go through and examine yourself, your motivations, your actions, your thoughts, everything about you, your beliefs. Are they in alignment with the fruit of the Spirit, with the definition of love? Are you being led by the Holy Spirit? Do this regularly. And this will help you to see, and give it to God. Do this prayerfully. This will help you to see where you have pridefulness in your life. So another thing you can do is simply take this test again that we're going through today. Take the life test. The life test that we're doing right now, that is one way to do this self-reflection thing, is to ask yourself the questions that I'm asking you today.